Hello guys and welcome back. We are now checking some deck techs or deck results from the new tournament uploads for the standard format. And of course, my source now here is the MTG Goldfish website. And one particular tournament, like it was like I think it's a major tournament in Japan. I found this on one of the top finishers. It is not really a champion deck or got into first place, but I think it is still got my interest, and I'm pretty sure you've already seen a similar build while you're grinding in MTG Arena. So this build, we call this one under the category of control, which is the Boros control, piloted by Yohei Yamashita. It's a username, unique name for this player. So Boros is red and white, and particularly you can see that having a control deck with no blue in it, it's quite unusual for this kind of deck tech. But let's explore what it's built as to why it has become an efficient deck in this format now with the Duskmourn is now available to play or legal to play in the standard. So we have to check here. We have 10 artifacts, 2 creatures, 8 enchantments, 11 instants, 25 lands, and of course the 15 card sideboard. So let's see. Oh, and it's also added here are your 4 sorcery with of course Sunfall as your main board sweep in the deck. So let's check out first. I think we're going to start off with check the grid, the artifacts. So the artifacts here are basically just composed of also some good advantage late game and early on, just somewhat just suppressing the damage caused by aggro decks. So we have here 4 copies of Carrot Cake. So this card will basically have you to create this 1/1 white rabbit creature token with Scry 1, which means that scrying would also make you sure that your card draws are efficient. And it also, of course, since it is a food, it also can get you 3 life by paying 2 and tap sacrificing this artifact. But early stats of this is that creating these tokens would also get you some good attackers, or not really good attackers, but against some other mid-range, just 1/1 pinching off damage early on can be a good way to start your game, and also having also some good blockers against other aggro decks in the meta. So not really like sufficing, like not really trading off with your creatures, but you make sure that you get your life high. Also with this bonus gain 3 life would also make sure that that is achievable. And for your other artifacts in the deck, of course, spot removals are basic in a control deck. We have Dust Reliquary that can exile target artifact or creature on one controls until it leaves the battlefield. It has its word too, but its cost is like you will need to sacrifice an artifact or creature. With this kind of setup, you can use this one, the tokens of Carrot Cake, or also the tokens created by Orzhov Forge. If it wasn't blocked in post combat, you can use Dust Reliquary to sacrifice this for the cost. So that is also an added value for only a cheap 1 mana cost in this artifact. So that is 2 copies to the deck. Of course, again, Orzhov Forge is basically having here as a huge late game threat with 4 copies to make sure that your turn 3 are very much efficient, creating these oil counters added depending on the oil counters that you get your X1 red protection horror creature with trample in haste. And that the other combo that goes with it is, just mentioned it before, is the Caretaker's Talent. So you know here that whenever one or more creatures you control enter, draw a card. It only triggers 1, but with the consistently having Orzhov Forge in play and with Caretaker's Talent, we make sure that your card draws are consistent. Hence what I said earlier, that mono blue or blue based decks would not only be the option for you to do card draws in this kind of build. And of course, having this level up later on will get you additional card advantage and board advantage, and also pump spells for your creature tokens. Now let's get back to the only creature in the main deck, which is now having the Duskmourn Mythic. It's the Overlord of the Mistmoor. So this creature is the 7 to cast 6/6, but it has its impending effect that if you cast it for 4, it will comes to play and it will be impending, which it could not attack or block. But the purpose here is that you will be able to create these 2/1 white instant creature tokens with flying. So it's just a 4 mana cost, adding your 2/1 dudes in play. But later on, you get to embed this. You can also attack for 6 and also create the succeeding tokens as an effect. So that is 2 in the deck, which makes sure that it's very suited for a control deck scenario. And for your enchantments, this is aside from Caretaker's Talent, we make sure that we have also a way to stop shenanigans of multiple spells. So we have High Noon that can be very powerful against those kinds of deck setup. And also bonus, you can pay 5 to sacrifice it to deal 5 damage to any target, even to your opponent's life total. And another 2 copies, this is Virtual Loyalty, which can also create tokens, at the same time also can pump up your dudes with this effect after your adventure. And instance, of course, since most of these kind of setups, you have some of the threats, the late game card advantage with the talent, and of course you needed to also control the board with this instance. So we have 3 copies of Get Lost. So this copy would be able for you to destroy target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker, and the bonus of them is that they will create 2 map tokens. In any given scenario, these map tokens will not really help them, especially for those mid-range decks wherein they have no really much of a creature to target to pop up their maps. And of course, spot removals in the form of Lightning Helix, which can also be redirected to the dome, in which damaging them with life totals would also make sure that you can also gain 3 life in the process. And also 4 copies of Torch the Tower. So this can also deal with the creatures that are returning from graveyards, because this spell would deal damage, but that would be die this turn, it will be exiled instead. And the bonus also of additional 3 damage if you got be able for this to bargain. And bargaining this is not only the 3 damage but also get you to scry 1 to fix your card draw. Now for the Sunfall, which makes sure that you can have a good way to exile creatures and incubate X equal to the number of the number of creatures exiled this way, which also gives you a threat. It also goes well with creating these tokens. So tokens are added, it would also trigger this card, Caretaker's Talent. So that is very good kind of setup for the deck, for a red-white shell. And of course, late game scenario would garner you advantage in the form of the Mirex, creating these tokens. And of course, Find and Port, which also gets you to draw a card for a token. You can create 1/1 blue fish creature token, or pay 4 to create a treasure token. And with the Sunken Citadel in the deck, it also gets to fix the advantages of activating your lands, because it can be used to add 2 mana of the chosen color to spend on activated abilities. So all in all total, with the addition of mana fix of Elegant Parlor, which also gets you to Surveil, Battlefield Forge, and Inspiring Vantage, it makes this main deck of 25 lands a very solid build for a Boros control. Now let's lastly check on the sideboard options. We have a variance here included with the spot removals, graveyard shenanigan intervals, disenchants features, and also added High Noon. So we go first with Archangel Elspeth. For me, for the other very versatile creature against mid-range and control, and maybe even for aggro decks, because it can also create these creature tokens with lifelink that can be used to be pumped later on for added lifelink damage in the damage race, for example. And we also have Brotherhood's End to make sure that aggro will not survive by also destroying or dealing 3 damage and also destroying artifacts with mana value 3 or less. And the added Elish Norn, which goes with the long game, which punishes triggered abilities of your opponents, permanents, and your additional triggers would also happen to your side if a permanent you control causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control. And again, since Disenchant is now the new version here with Exercise, this is also looking to be a powerful damage or exile effects by also dealing with creatures with power 4 or greater, which says goodbye to your opponent's children. Learn of the third path would also be useful here because it's not only becomes a 2-1 body with a disenchant ETB, but can also get you to draw a card for late game card value if needed. And of course, added High Noon to stop those kind of multi-spell setup. Rest in peace. I think we have still the option of Atraxa Remater decks. Then this would be a very good option against them, and with 3 copies to make sure that you can draw it as early as turn 2, and spot removals also, or mass removals in the form of split up that can be casted for dealing this, destroying all top creatures with Serra Paragon as your late game card advantage, which of course your good target here would be your additional card cakes, or even your Orzhov Forge that was destroyed by your opponent's artifact hate. And let's check on the mana curve. It's 2.86. It's very small per se, but you can see here with the spot removals under this 2 mana value, we still get some good late game setup with this 5 mana, and also with the 2 and the 7 mana curve. And the distribution for the colors mostly white, and the production would still go with more of the white than red. I think it's pretty much close in the number, but with this kind of setup, you can see that we only need at least 2 white in the deck to make sure that you can cast this one, the Impending, and also for the Sunfall, which also require you to cast with 2 white mana. And for the tokens, I don't think we have more tokens here. We have a lot. We have 10 basically. Fish token, Incubator token, Insect token, Light token, Map token, Correction Horror, Correction Might, Rabbit token, Soldier token, and a Treasure token. So that's, in a way, we can call this one also as a token control deck per se. And I think you will see that its performance is pretty much appreciated and could not be disregarded as a tier 2 kind of deck build for the current Duskmourn standard metagame. And for any questions you might have for this list, just let me know in the comments below. We can have a good discussion and maybe do some analysis of other card options from the new set, which you can do some changes in the main deck, or even switch some of the sideboard cards that could be added here in the main deck. So I think that's pretty much it for this deck tech. Again, Boros controlled by Yohei Yamashita in the Japan list added from the MTG Goldfish website. Again, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, notifications bell on, and see you on the next video.